Welcome to the Fighting on Film podcast, the podcast all about classic and obscure war movies, from the Normandy landings to the days of chivalry and swords. If it's been captured on film, we're going to try and cover it. I'm Robbie of RM Military History.
I'm Matthew Moss of Historical Firearms and the Armourer's Bench.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday at the PC desk with a mug of tea. I remember always to turn on my podcast mic, reviewing so many war films with a really good mate. If we watch them and review them with Matt and Rob, if we watch them and review them with Matt and Rob on the fourth pod, would you like the alley tally too? Happy birthday, happy birthday. Fourth is five, everybody.
Wow, okay, let's go. That was incredible. That's the new theme tune. Fuck off whatever we've been using for the last 5 years, that's it now.
I thought a little bit of an altered images cover for us all to set us in the birthday mood. Yes, as you may have seen. So as you may have seen on the socials last week, fourth is five, and it's our big birthday bash. Ask us anything special. And before we begin the show, I'm going to steal a segment from Ham and Jam. They're good lads over there. Do give them a listen if you haven't already. What are you drinking, Matt? Because this is the one episode a year where me and Matt can have a drink and do the show.
Everyone will believe that. I'm I'm drinking a Beavertown neck oil.
Nice. And I'm drinking a Coors. What do they call these? Coors.
Oh, the big boys.
Just a Coors lager. It's just called Coors in this country, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to crack. There we go. Hope that came through on the record.
Chin, cheers.
Chin.
To the regiment. I wish I was there.
Yeah, to Fighting on Film, and may she continue for 5 more years. If you haven't heard one of our AMA specials before, well, you're in for a treat, because, well, not only is it an Ask Us Anything, and anything can happen, we're 5, and we're having a drink, so anything could happen. But firstly, before we really begin, I have to thank Matt for being my co-host for the last 5 years. Here's to you, friend.
Couldn't do it without you, mate. Couldn't do it without you. What a fun 5 it's been, honestly.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm so glad. I say this every time we do an annual AMA. I'm so glad we decided to do it, and I'm so glad we're still doing it.
Yes, I really am. Like, you know, it's mad. I think I put on one of the social posts that this literally started as a lockdown project to sort of keep me and Matt busy. We literally met each other like in the middle of COVID in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks we've been friends for, you know, our whole lives, but we really haven't. Like, I've known Matt as long as the show's been going, essentially.
Yeah.
And I never thought we'd be
2 months, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I never thought we'd be here 5 years in. I never thought we'd be going to film premieres, getting screeners, you know, having had some amazing sort of like connections with brands, all these kind of things that pods that you listen to in your normal life have. And you think, oh, well, my little indie pod, it'd be nice if it ever got there, but it probably won't, but it's going to be a fun ride. But no, we've done it, and we're closing in on 2 million listens, which is absolutely mad. I can't fathom that.
Mind-blowing, isn't it? That's a huge
incredible
number. It's an insane number.
Is. Off the top of my head, I think we're 300,000 listens, 250,000 listens off 2 mil now, which is also crazy. But anyway, I think we should get into the first batch of questions this week, which it comes from the Patreons. So it's going Patreons, Facebook, X, and then at the end, me and Matt are asking each other 3 questions each. And then
they're wild.
They are crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, let's ask each other anything. So we went out there, and then at the end, I'm debuting a new feature. We shall see if it stays. So we shall see.
I haven't even been told about this.
Well, it's a feature that you mentioned to me the other day. So
okay.
I think you might know what it is.
Anyway.
I
mentioned so many things; it could be anything. But I look forward to it.
Yep, so our first question is Paul Hicks. Paul Hicks asks, hello, Paul, if you're out there listening. He says, first off, congratulations on the Big 5. My question is, what film have you already covered? Would you like to do another deep dive on? And when are you going to do Waterloo? Bonus one, Robbie is a monster for eating milk chocolate digestives. Sorry, that wasn't a question. It's just a fact. Wow. You've come to my party, Paul, and you've called me a monster. Dang. Mm-hmm. Well, milk chocolate digestives are the best. I'm sorry, they are.
I don't know. I quite like to revisit Commando. or maybe Wild Geese, because
Ooh.
they're two classics that are they were really fun episodes to do.
They were, yeah.
Just for the fun factor of it. But I think what I'd like to revisit the most and give it another
Going over.
fourth treatment is Where Eagles Dare.
Ooh, yeah, we could, we could. We really could do that again, We do it in a different way, come from a different angle, perhaps.
Because we had Jeff Dyer on, and that was decent. It was a good episode. But I'd like to give it more, like more of a fourth jaunty episode where we
maybe.
dig deep. Maybe get Jim Dowdle back on to talk about it.
That would be interesting,
in a segment.
actually.
Do it that way.
That's your angle, I think. We get Jim on. I'd like to revisit something like The Outpost, because I think at the time when Outpost came out, it was one of the newer sort of straight to streaming movies that actually had good budget behind it, good writing, good set pieces. And it was kind of like a little bit of a blip on the war film sort of release schedule at the time.
Yes.
And it was really good. And I think we dubbed it a modern classic back on our episode about it. And I haven't watched it since, but I'd like to go back and look at that, but compare it with Warfare.
Yeah. If we rewatched it, would it stand up to the praise we gave it? Is the question, isn't it? Yeah. As for Waterloo, that is going to be a really, really interesting one to do. I love that movie. And we need I think a really solid guest that also loves cinema, because
an expert.
Because aside from the history side of it, there's so much to talk about in terms of production. The use of the com block troops, the fact that it was filmed in Crimea, and everyone was all thrown into one relatively shabby Soviet hotel, and all that big ensemble cast there for weeks. Really interesting stuff to talk about.
No, I'd like to do that one too, with a guest who knows their salt, because it always adds so much more to an episode when that happens, and it's one of Steger's finest performances, I think.
Okay, we got one from Craig Burgess, who says this is a couple of elements to this one. Number one, he says, as someone who is a history fan, would you? Let me get my teeth in. As someone who is a history fan, how would you? I've only had like 3 sips. How would you recommend breaking into the field?
Sips.
Not necessarily military history. I'm a massive wrestling fan. You'd be surprised at some of the links between the two, dating back to the 1800s. I can believe it. That's a really good question, because both Rob and I come at this from a very different kind of origin. I went to university. I have a master's, but then Rob's also an excellent historian who doesn't have an academic background per se, but has academic skill.
Sell me short. Well, no, I have a degree.
In fact, if you do have a degree, but not in history, I should say.
No, not in history. I don't come from about history from an academic background. I trained to be an actor. I have a drama degree. So no, we do have very different.
Which also is the meat on the bones of the podcast that we love.
Of course, yeah. So we have really different run-ups at this profession that we somehow found ourselves doing.
That's what I was trying to get at.
No, I get it. No, I understand it. But so it is an interesting question, and me and Matt talk about this quite a lot. Actually, and we talk about this a lot with our peers, more than I think people realise. So for me, I'm coming at it from not the background that Matt has. So obviously my experiences will be different. So I got down here. It really made me think, actually. I would say do your research first, obviously. Know what you're talking about. Find a niche within that niche. Because I always find once you start going into things, you'll find something as an offshoot. And you think, oh, that's really interesting. No one's written about that. No one's researched that. So, for instance, I had an article out in Britain at War magazine last month about Operation Exercise Brave Defender, which was a Cold War exercise in the UK, the largest home exercise that's ever been done in this country. No one had written about it. I'd made a YouTube documentary about it, and then I had the opportunity to expand that research and do a big article on it. So what I'm saying there is I like the Cold War period. I like learning about the British Army there, but then I've gone off and found a lot of information about this really small thing. So I do that in my work. I find something that's a niche within a niche because I think that's interesting to a reader. And then hone your writing if you want to be a writer. Hone your video editing content if you want to do video or something like that. Make contact. Be brave about what you're doing, because it kind of is oddly, I feel, and I could be talking out of church here, but I think it's quite a solo.
It can be quite lonely. Yeah.
At the end of the day, the work is your work. You're a reflection of that. So be brave, and then be ready for setbacks, but keep on trucking with it all. Like it's a
Yeah.
long road. This.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. I would say the most important thing is not to be intimidated if you don't come from an academic background. Just
Massively agree
just
there.
bite the bullet, jump in, and if you have a passion for something, there's no reason, and there's no reason anyone should prevent you from doing so. To dig into that area and explore it in a way that you find engaging in, that others probably will as well. And I think you have to be. There's an element where if you want to be taken seriously, you have to be rigorous.
I think that's true.
You have to be able to do research, and if that's something you want to do, there's plenty of methods of learning how to do that. If it's not something you're completely familiar with, or it's there are ways of learning how to do research and writing about history and making content about history without having to go to university or whatever. But I'm always very much of the opinion that we need to encourage people to feel like they can be in the space.
Yeah,
because
I think that's right.
There's nothing I hate more than people that can be. I've not really encountered many. I've only in my academic career, I've only encountered maybe one or two kind of individuals. No one that we know personally, Rob. It's like within my sphere.
I get what you. No, I get what you
military
mean.
firearms and small arms history. There's only been a handful of people that have been remotely gatekeepery. As I said, once you move past that intimidation or trepidation about jumping into doing something like that, and actually just getting into it, enjoying it, digging deep, or anything like that, just becomes insignificant.
Well, the one thing that I say is, and I say it to my mum when she asks me what my job is, because I do so much really. And Matt does as well. We do all these little things that kind of are in the sphere of one thing. And I said, well, at the end of the day, Mum, when you take away everything that I do, I'm essentially a professional rememberer. Like that's what I call myself, really, at times, because you are regurgitating the past, putting maybe a fresh take on it, new eyes. But at the end of the day, it's history, and you're remembering things.
That's a very ancient Greek way of looking at it. Actually, I quite like that. Yeah.
Yeah, professional rememberer.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's fair. That's fair. Right, the second part of Craig's question was, have you ever thought about having listeners on the pod, maybe a quarterly feature or something along those lines? Love the pod. Congratulations on all the success. Thank you so much, Craig.
Thanks.
Very good question. So we've thought about doing like a call-in style thing, haven't we? Where,
we have, yes.
People could call in and interact with us on that. It's really more of a practicality thing rather than a reluctance to do it on an idea level, because it's having a method to get these things, recorded, which is both easy for the individuals that want to get involved and also easy for us to edit and put into a show in a timely manner. Because I don't know whether we've ever mentioned this, shock horror, but we work week to week. We are not one of these shows that have got it in the bag.
I really like the idea of a call-in. I've thought about it. There are ways that it can be done. But then it is, as Matt said, it's getting a time together. It's getting everyone together to do that, having a strong feature. So I think maybe down the line there would be. I would
like to do it. I think one of the strengths of the show is the community that is built around it organically. I think everyone that listens to it and talks to us on socials and comes to events and stuff, there's a clear, community of people that love war movies and love history.
Yeah. And
they've coalesced around us very luckily for us. And I think there's definitely a space to perhaps do something room for down the line. Yeah.
Well, I think if you leave it with me and Matt, we'll definitely work out a way to do it, because we always do. We persevere on this show quite a lot.
Let us know if you'd be interested in doing something like that. Everyone,
do let us know
if that sounds like something you'd want to do, like a call-in show, and I don't know, share war movie memories or discuss a topic.
There is a way to do it. So our next question is from AD Bond. Hope you're well, AD. He asks, which war film has the least amount of Ali in it? Ali, for listeners who may be new, is the cool things on display. The bits and the bobs, if that made any sense.
There is an article all about that on FineArtFilm.com that we wrote a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, and it explains what Ali actually is. Ali is a time-honored
British
Army
slang
term.
word, slang word for cool kit, essentially.
Yep, basically. And that is an incredibly tough question. I could not think of one specifically off the top of my
Got a
head.
couple.
Go on.
So initially I thought something like Greyhound, but then my brain thought all naval films, but I'm no naval expert, so I would think that. But every time we've done a naval film, the alley has ended up being quite good. So I thought I scratched that off. But then I think I found perhaps the two movies, one we have covered, one we haven't, that do have not a lot of alley in them. Films like Darkest Hour or that Munich Crisis one with Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, Munich Crisis was hard.
Yeah,
The
because
Munich one was difficult.
Yeah, because they're movies about war and historical events, but they don't have battles in them per se. So there might be a guy.
No, and there was no standout vehicles. I mean, the fact that they had the plane that he gets off was pretty cool.
That's alley, but there's not like you can't go. There's like the German troops have got this. The battle has this in it. No, there's nothing like that. It's you can go on. Chamberlain's morning suit looks very nice. It's not doesn't really translate well onto the show.
Yeah, I mean, for us that isn't what we would consider alley. But if there was a show about historical tailoring in film, then
that'd be amazing.
It would be actually quite cool. I didn't quite enjoy listening to that. I think that would obviously factor in more for them.
No, I think
but
you're right.
We're more of a kit and big things.
Yeah.
And then a bit of uniform. And
well, more than a bit.
It's a very fast and loose. It's a very fast and loose definition for alliness, isn't it? Really, for us.
I think every week it's me just demonstrating my love of uniforms and jackets. I think every week. I think if you'd listened to the show for 5 years, you'd have a pretty decent overview of NARM kit just from my researching and my sort of love for it. But no, I think those kind of movies, your Darkest Hours, your Munichs, your sort of maybe The Bunker with Anthony Hopkins, they would have not much alley in them because they're about figures at the top, perhaps not about actual battles. So I would say that.
And again, it's interesting when you think about it from more of a take a step back, I should say. Alliness does not make a film. But
it doesn't. It really doesn't. We've covered movies that have had some fantastic kit and equipment in them, but the movies themselves are just damn squibs. And sometimes that's more annoying because they've taken so much care in the look. Everything else is just not worked, and that's been a shame.
And the flip can be true as well. Like if it's a good film, but they haven't quite got the budget for everything, you can forgive that. We've talked about this before.
Yes.
But sometimes it does act like a boat anchor, and if it's actually, let's take my all-time favorite B movie we've ever done, which is the Rebels of PT 218. They're on a really cool original World War II freighter, which is really interesting that they managed to film on there and stuff.
Yeah,
but it bears no resemblance to the film, to the actual boat itself, and it has no place being there. The whole thing is terrible. But it's such a fascinating little microcosm of filmmaking that there we are.
It's just, and everyone's got their 2024 glasses that they own in real life on and things like that. And you just, because the movie's absolutely dire, you
One
start
lab is wearing
to really...
Molly, for Christ's sake.
You start to really notice it. And you're like, why do you do this to me? You're like, why?
Just wait for Danny Trejo to come back on screen, basically.
Yeah, that was a wild ride.
Incredible film.
Next question, Matt, I think.
This one's from Dave Goodwin. Dave Goodwin asks, congratulations on 5 years. Here's to 5 more. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dave. Which film would you say has the most alley in it? The converse of 80s question there.
Yes. See how I...
Equally tough question, actually.
Yeah, I think Wild Geese, first off.
Wild Geese is a good show.
Absolute ton in it. And then sometimes there are those B movies we've done, and they cram a heap of stuff in. So I can't remember exactly the name of the movies. The Mercenary one we did in Merc Month 2 with the Bedford that gets blown up at the end. I forget the name of that one.
A Bedford getting blown up does not narrow it down
No.
massively.
It was,
but I know the one you mean.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. But films like that,
Mercenary Fighters.
Mercenary Fighters, yes, canon movie,
Yeah,
yes. That has a heck of a lot of Ali in it.
does.
Things like that, they surprise you. But Wild Geese is one that just popped up out of my head because it's got an absolute plethora in there.
Oh, it's beautiful. Commando is the same vein there.
Yes.
Commando is a B movie on speed, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
And then you got the other end of the spectrum, and you've got things like The Longest Day and A Bridge Too Far, where it's an epic movie, and there's a lot of different kit that's in focus.
Yeah.
I think they stand out as having a lot of Ali-ness in them.
I think it depends, like what era you're coming from as well, and what you perceive as Ali. Because some people don't, they might see a
Ali-ness
modern
is in the
war
eye
film.
of the beholder, for
It
sure.
really is, and you think, oh, it's modern stuff, don't care. But if you watch something like, I don't know, Dunkirk, 1958, you'd be like, wow, that's so Ali. Yeah, it really is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
So our next question is from David Lawton. He asks, from all the shows you've done, which characters would you pick to form 2 FOF sections up to 10 characters each? One led by Lieutenant Moss and one led by Lieutenant Maguire. We love the show, guys. Here's to loads more years.
Oh,
Thanks,
I love
David.
the depth of that. That's
a good one.
That's a
I've
deep
gone
question.
in. Have you gone in? Because I went in.
I've gone in to a degree, but I always feel like you go in harder.
Oh, yeah, because, it's just what I do, Matt. Right, so who wants to go first?
You go first. Go ahead.
I have A section and B section. I'll be A section then.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Because you're going first. It makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm the lieutenant. So my second LTs is Kenneth Moore. So my second lieutenant is Kenneth Moore from the Northwest Frontier.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah. My NCOs are Sergeant Horvath, Tom Sizemore from Saving Private Ryan, and Sergeant Fletcher, played by William Hartnell from The Way Ahead.
Right.
And then my third NCO, and I'd have to take a stripe off him. I don't really want to because I think he'd hit me. But it's Sergeant Watson, played by Jack Lambert from 9 Men.
Ooh, yes.
And then my
Like
other
it.
ranks are the Young'un, played by Gordon Jackson, Banger Hill, played by Frederick Piper, Grant Sutherland as Jock, Bill Blewett as Jock Scott, Eric Micklewood as Bookie, and Jack Horseman as Joe Harvey. So I've just made a section of 9 men from 9 Men because you wouldn't want
Marvellous.
anyone else, would you?
Well done. Well
They
done.
come with their own voice anti-tank. I mean, what more do you
do.
want?
They do.
Put them in a hut. They'll be holding it on January 1st, and you'll come back on Christmas Day at the end of the year, and they'll still bloody be there.
Like it. I haven't gone for a second lieutenant because I've just gone for a splattering of NCOs and other ranks.
Okay.
I have Gregory Peck from Porkchop Hill as the sergeant.
I like it.
I've gone for the posh corporal played by David Niven from The Way Ahead.
Ooh, yes.
I've gone for the rifleman that never lets you down, Percy Herbert's character from Sea of Sand.
Oh, yes.
I've gone for the cheeky lance corporal, played by Roger Moore from Wild Geese. Finn.
Ooh,
Flynn,
okay.
sorry, I should say.
Flynn,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
right, I like it. Yeah.
And then just a smattering of classic British actors. William Hartnell, John Laurie.
John, oh yeah,
do a bit.
I like it.
John
yeah.
Laurie.
What to do? Sorry.
Who else? Who else did I pick? There was one other. Who was it? Oh dear. It's escaped me. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to
Okay.
me.
Well, there's some strong sections there, and I would have all my men kitted out in 1940 BEF wear because it's just absolutely peak.
I like that. I agree with that. I'll go for that.
Yeah. On to our next question, which is from David Falk. He asks, what is a war story that you'd love to see as a movie, and who is the dream cast for it? We have a lot of these over the years. Matt, your one first.
We always go Gloucester's because we want it. We need it.
I've gone off of that. I've not gone that way this year. I've
I've not gone that way either. I've gone for Stephen Graham
What?
depicting Of course.
Who else? Who else?
Of course. Friend of the show, favourite of the show, Stephen Graham.
We wish.
As one of the chaps that was in one of the caves at Isandlwana up on the hill.
Oh my God. Yes, please.
So think Bob Hoskins in Zulu Dawn, but Steve Graham.
Is it like a solo film where he's hiding
I
the whole
reckon
time?
so, because I can't afford anything, any more than just Stephen Graham.
Yeah.
I'm imagining. All right, this is how the film opens.
Okay.
There's a flash of very bright light. We pan into a small dark area. It's a cave.
Ooh,
Who's
yeah.
in there? It's Stephen Graham. What's he got? It's a Martini Henry. A figure appears in the doorway of the cave. It's a Zulu. He gets shot.
Right. Yeah. Maybe.
That's the rest of the film, and then
Zulu-
it's just Stephen Graham grappling with the impending, mortality that he faces.
I like it. It's
I
good.
think it's cerebral.
Like he could do that. He'd pull that
Just
off.
seen all of
I
his
like
men
that.
and all his friends killed down in the valley.
Send the
He's fought
script to
his
his
way up the
wife,
hill.
and you might get it made, Matt. That's how they work.
Honestly, I can do it for a tray of Costco sandwiches and 200 grand.
Okay. Anyway, I've gone for Operation Telescope, Suez.
Oh, Musketeer. That'd be cool.
The Paradrop, which is Operation Telescope, which I didn't know until earlier. I just thought it was Musketeer, but no, apparently the drop is Telescope. It's a great name. So I've got a cast in my Parrot, no roles in particular, but I want young established British stars and up-and-comers, but my established stars to get you in is Jack Loudon, who's doing absolutely gangbusters on Slow Horses, George Mackay from 1917, and that Richard Madden guy from Bodyguard. Because I think they've all got the look, haven't they? And I can cast Jack Loudon as an actual Scot, which would be really cool.
That would be good. That would be good.
And if we cast Jack, we might get Saoirse Ronan in as a cameo, so we can put her on the poster.
Oh, waving him off.
Yeah, I think Telescope. I think Suez has been woefully under sort of done. There's a brilliant
That'd be great.
series that the BBC did. I think it was like 2006. Watched it on YouTube a few months ago about the Suez Crisis, and then they did a follow-up documentary about the Egyptian side of Suez, which was really good. Anyway, so on to our next question. Paul Burns asks, how long did you originally think the podcast might run for? And you should hang your heads in shame for not yet covering Crimson Tide. Sorry, Paul. We'll get on to Crimson Tide. We will. It will be done for WMA, Paul, for sure. So, Matt, go on. Shock me first. How long did you think this thing would last?
I don't know. I didn't really put a time scale on it. I just thought, well, we're in lockdown. I'll have a crack on it. We'll go and see if we can make a jobbing go of it and see how long it goes. But
my whole thing was, how long can I dodge this disease for first?
Yeah, how long will we all survive?
Yeah. Will there be anyone left to listen?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm with you there. My biggest fear was that because we got through COVID okay, but my biggest fear was when we went weekly when that second lockdown came into effect. Because I was in Wales at the time and Matt was in England, so I had way more lockdowns than Matt did. My biggest fear was not getting out of that sort of post-COVID podcast kind of cull that happened. A load of indie shows just stopped because people had to go back to work or whatever. But then we kind of just kept going, and we would spur each other on. We'd start emailing people for screeners, and they got back to us, and we were like, "Oh, hang on, this thing's it's growing." We started a Patreon, and people joined it, and we were like, "Oh, okay." And then we got the email saying, "Oh, you can come to We Have Waste Fest and do a quiz," and we were like, "Oh, okay then." So it all kind of snowballed, and it's kept snowballing, and I think it's the thing that me and Matt say a lot behind the scenes. This doesn't feel like it never feels like a chore doing the show. We do it because we love to do it. The listeners don't hear them, but me and Matt have, after every show, we might be on the call for another hour, 2 hours, just spitballing, chatting about the show, and catching up as mates. But we really care about this thing. And I think it's that level of care has kind of made the show keep going. Me and Matt always say we do it if one person was listening,
Oh, yeah.
We just love
exactly.
doing it.
Exactly. We watch the numbers, but that's mostly just to see out of curiosity.
Yeah, we have a metric that we like to follow, but we don't ever not hit it, which is weird.
Yeah.
We've never had a month,
No,
even when
thankfully.
we stopped. No, yeah, even when we stopped over Christmas last year because I moved house and we came back and everything was fine. And we were like, oh, okay. Like, and that was a big thing for me and you because we were like, oh, okay, no, this thing that we make, people actually care about. And that's a lovely
Well, that's
feeling.
a very good point because, a lot of podcasts have seasons. We don't have seasons.
No, we just keep going.
We're 365.
Yeah.
We're 52 weeks of the year, more or less. More like 48, probably. Once you take out Christmas and New Year's, I think we started at the right time. I think that's the key. It wasn't at the beginning of a lockdown, I should say. It was more. It was more in the middle of one, and we kind of got into it. We got into a stride. We worked out exactly what we wanted to do pretty quickly. If you listen to those first shows, we're wooden, but we're not too wooden. There's that kind of like fleck and
we were
grains
terrified of telling jokes to each other at the start. If you go back and listen to those first 10 episodes, we are so scared of trying to make each other laugh.
This is it. So we there was a grain, a granule of what we wanted there, and we kind of eased our way into it, and we grew. And I think there was a couple of episodes where we realized, okay, lean into it, put a bit of personality, bit of humor.
Don't be afraid of it.
And then credit to you being, the key editor in this, in the decision was made not to edit it too heavily, not to remove all the ups and ahs, keep it conversational, have it flow, but not, remove all the false starts on things where, sometimes we'll be recording at 1 a.m. and I'll go, actually, no, that's crap, that Rob, cut that. Or you'll say the wrong thing 3 times in a row and then go, actually, no, I need to restart this.
Or you'll go off about 90s printers for half an hour on that one episode.
A tangent, yeah. A good tangent. Not being afraid to leave a good tangent in is key as well.
No, don't be afraid, because sometimes it's funny.
Leave a chair squeaking. That's the key. Next question comes from Brian Williams. He asks, has there been any content that has not worked to your satisfaction or flopped with listeners? That's a very good question, and I'm going to say no. I don't think anything has really flopped.
I have one, but it's behind the scenes info, so I've written it very carefully. So there was one episode that never got off the drawing board, and we had an actor who remained nameless because he was absolutely lovely throughout it.
Yeah.
Whose agent, I had a chat with him. I rang him on Zoom. We had a lovely conversation. He's been in some great things. You'd know him, so I really am not going to say his name. Whose agent told us he couldn't come on as it might hurt his reputation or bookings down the line, and he was really upset because for him it was one of his big early roles. He really enjoyed the movie that he did. And he said, no, just my agent just said there's no way, because they were really worried that he would say something out of turn, I would put it out, or we would put it out, and it would hurt him. And I said, look, you can have full editing control, you can have full final edit, I really don't mind. And he rang me back, I think it was 4 a.m. or something, because he's American. And he went, and he's like, Robbie, I'm so sorry, we can't do it. I'm really, really sorry, I have tried. But that was the only time that something didn't get to air that I know of.
It was a film that I think his agent considered not to be one of his finest moments, but he was absolutely standout in it, and he was great in it. It was perfect. And the show was not going to be a negative show. It was a positive. No,
it wasn't. It was
It was a B movie, but it wasn't a B movie we were going to be slating. It was one we were on board with, and you could get behind. But I know exactly the one you mean.
Yes, that's the only thing ever that didn't, and it miffed me at the time because I was like, oh, that would have been lovely. But
I know, you put a lot of work
nice
into getting that off the ground on that one as well.
But he was so nice, it didn't really bother me.
You put a lot of work into reaching out to him and getting
there'll be a FOF knowledge there for everyone.
Yeah, a bit behind the scenes. I think there have been films that I thought would be more popular than they turned out to be.
That's always interesting though, from the metric side.
It is.
That is always really interesting.
And then there's been, conversely, there's been episodes that I thought didn't pop. when we recorded them, but listening back to them and then seeing the metrics, people have actually enjoyed them
Well, it's
more
all in
than
the
I
edit,
thought
isn't
they
it?
would.
What was it? I think I calculated once. It's over like 300 hours of unpaid editing work here. So I think it's time for an ad break. See what Acast is trying to hawk you this week, and we'll be back with the Facebook questions.
Hello there, sorry to interrupt. I wanted to let you know that you can now join our supporting cast over on Patreon. As thanks for your support, you'll be able to help us pick films, submit questions for guests, have first pick on brand new and exclusive merch, and much more. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show. I hope it was a double diamond advert.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hope it was maybe a plug for the National Lottery, because they're always doing that on my one. They're like, hey, you historian, you're skin, aren't you? Play the lottery. It's only £1. God. Anyway,
Right.
So our first question.
Facebook questions.
Kerry Thomas asks, well, the Welsh wizard of the action babies, he asks, what is your favourite episode and why? My favourites are usually the really bad B movies you've covered, as they always make me giggle.
Can't go wrong with the shit B movie, can you?
You really
I
can't.
love those ones.
It's the
We've
backbone
not done
of this
one for a while.
podcast. We haven't.
Yeah,
Maybe
actually
maybe
is.
next. It's our birthday month. Maybe next week we could choose an absolute howler.
Maybe.
Next week, sorry,
Something
not next
by
month.
Asylum.
Next week, these calls it in. Jesus, yeah.
You had it here first, people. We're
That's
going
an adult beverage right there. Yum yum.
I think mine is still Rebels of PT 118.
Is it
218.
really?
Yeah,
We've
because
done
it's just
two-
so
we've-
shit.
So we didn't start numbering the show until about 20 episodes in. So we've covered about 270 films at this point, right? And that is your.
Actually,
that's
we're approaching
incredible.
300.
Oh God! Wow.
Let me double check that stat. Hang on.
I love
Carry on.
that is your favourite. I really do.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was my favourite, but it's the one that stands out.
was-
Yeah, we're at 234, right?
Didn't we watch that
234 main
together?
episodes. Yes, we did.
We did, yeah.
234 episodes we've done, and then probably plus all the ancillary ones, probably closer to
Unnumbered ones.
250. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. Wow. But we go by the numbers now because it's easier. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? I love that that's your favourite because Matt has coined many great phrases during the show's run. He had John Woo shit his pants all over this film, which is just incredible. And then he had, and I can't remember exactly like how he said it, but there's a shot of the bulkhead of the ship in that Rebels movie, and it kind of like pans to it and hangs on it for way longer than it should. And Matt was
the
just
greatest
he
bulkhead
was next to
shot
me, and he was
ever.
pointing at the screen, cackling, going, "The bulkhead, the bulkhead." It's just fantastic. You had to be there, kind of thing, but it was fantastic.
Honestly, everyone go and watch that film because it is a masterpiece of its own. I don't know, universe.
it's high cinema.
Alternate reality.
It's high cinema.
Absolute cinema.
So
But that end sequence where it just closes on the
just
bulkhead
pans
is just
and nothing happens.
Beautiful.
I've gone for me. I've got a bit more highbrow. I think for me,
Ooh.
it's our sort of industry interviews with. We had Alex Brockdorf on from Warfare a couple of months ago.
That
We
was a
had Tom
highlight, for
Petch
sure.
on, who directed The Patrol. He's become a friend of the show. We recently had him on for ICS Rogue Heroes season 2 sort of overview of looking at what the real history is. And I find those so enlightening and insightful, and it adds so much to my appreciation of the genre because these are people that do it for their jobs. So me and Matt, we review, but these people, they make movies, they act, they've gone through a completely different process. And when they come on the show, you're never really sure what you're going to get. Are they going to be really conversational, or are they going to be like brass tacks, down to the bone, telling you exactly how it is? And we've had such a great mix of people over the years. I find those episodes so rewarding, and we are trying our damnedest to get more people on. Like last month, I think, was it maybe 4 months ago now, we had my friend Max Burkitt on, who I used to do reenactment with, who now just so happens to be a military history costumier for movies. And that was fascinating as well. You don't tend to hear from these people on shows, and this is one of the great things about FOF is that we are a place where if you've worked in war movies, it doesn't matter if you did the catering or you directed the thing, we want to hear from you because it's all
Yeah.
part of film. We love film here. As we say, Fighting on Film is a film show first, a history show second, and we really try to keep to that. But I love that. I just think it's so interesting and insightful.
No, I think it's one of our strengths in that we can kind of like shine a bit of a light on some of the more esoteric aspects of making
Yeah.
a war movie. You know, talking to sound designer or stunt coordinator
Oh
or
yeah,
just those kind of episodes are real highlights, and I hope we get to do more of those because we've talked to documentary makers, we talked to actual fiction movie makers and directors like Tom and others, and there's so much more that I want to talk to an editor. I want to talk to someone that works in the music department. I want
agreed.
to talk to someone who does sound effects, visual effects would be amazing. To
Oh,
talk
that'd
to
be
someone
fantastic. Yeah.
that
More
that kind of
armourers. We're trying to get people from Baption
armorers.
at the moment because it's just everything that makes up a movie. We say this all the time on the show. Remember, the thing you're watching, it's a miracle that's on screen. Doesn't matter if it's a B movie. Doesn't matter if it's a $150 million epic. The fact that got made is just unfathomable to the average human. The amount of people that are doing work to make that happen, and we just want to highlight it because I think obviously it's not forgotten about, but I think in terms of like the smaller people like the costumers, the armorers, and the military advisors, they kind of get forgotten about.
Yeah.
I think personally, and I think the war movie genre is a great genre to bring them in for because there's a lot more that goes on a military film rather than I don't know, a drama about XYZ. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, totally. There's a lot of technical aspects that are kind of you don't they're there on screen for you to see, but you don't really know the intricacies of what goes into it.
agreed. Yeah, massively so.
Next question comes from Richard Delahaye. He says, "Honestly, lads, you've been great each time I've seen you at We Have Ways. My question would be, which one of your guests taught you both the most over the years?" Kind of plays back into what we were talking about previously, and I think it's a great question. I think the ones that I've learned the most from in terms of the industry side would be perhaps Jim Dowdle, Dale Dye.
Yeah.
They're the guys that stand out in terms of both the stunt side, the very practical side, the stunt side, the military advisor side. Those guys. Some of the favorites, one of my all-time favorites, and Rob's as well, I'm sure, is Sebastian Abinieri, a friend of the
Oh,
show,
of course. Yes.
raconteur, extraordinaire, absolute
There
storyteller,
was
a
so much
great
from the
chap.
night in the hotel that I wish we could have recorded. Absolute gold. Me and Matt are on the hard
Absolutely.
stuff. Seb's drinking alcohol-free Guinness, but he's rattling off some incredible stuff. Oh my word, what a absolute guy. We've got more
Yeah.
planned with Seb. We need to sort it out, really. We really do because he's an absolute gem.
Historians as well. Take Tom Petch, friend of the show, as Rob mentioned earlier, director and historian. He brings a level of detail that is just next level. Peter Caddick Adams, Saul David. In terms of the history side of things, bringing that historical context, those guys have been standouts for me.
Yeah, massively so. I mean, for me, like it was early on in the show, we had Al Murray on to do Bridge Too Far, and that for me was just box office because he's a personal hero of mine in terms of comedy and my formative comedy years. I watched his sitcom when I was growing up on Sky and things like that. So to have him on and then be doing his podcast festival, then to be doing his festival is just insane. So that was incredible. And the sort of things me and Matt have been able to sort of do and get from sort of just knowing him have been fantastic. But yeah, for me, it was like, chatting to Del Dye, not once, but twice, and him telling us how much he likes the show and how much he thinks it's great and things like that. And but that's one thing, but then having him come on and just tell us about all these projects he's worked on, and your Tom Petches, your Charles Maines, your Dowdles, pick a guest from the show's run, and they've taught me something. It doesn't matter if it's history or film.
Absolutely,
Every
yeah.
guest we have on is just such a treat because, again, I said it earlier, you never know what you're going to get, but you always get gold. It doesn't matter because we are quite. I'm not saying we're like, we're sort of really careful about who we get on, but we like to get guests who we think fits the film. Because we think that's really important because, they might have had a book out, they might have had a project, or they've worked on it. And we think if it fits, it'll be good because then they're adding another layer on to the review. So pick Victoria Taylor out from a few months ago when we did that Stukas movie. She just released Eagle Days, Life and Death of the Luftwaffe in the Battle of Britain. Little plug there for her. It's a great book. Please go and read it. But the amount I learned about the Luftwaffe in that short amount of time and then going on to read her book, just absolutely incredible. We always get something out of guests. Doesn't matter who they are, we always get something out of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so next question I think is pointed at me from Gareth Charlton, and he asks, what's the control room of a ship called? Thanks for the great podcast. You guys are great. Well, thank you so much, Gareth. And it is, of course, a viewing room. If you're a long-time FOF listener, you might even remember the ep where I coined the phrase, as I'm famously no boat expert, despite my dad owning a boat in my youth. It is, of course, called a deck. Is it a deck? I'm wrong,
No, it's
aren't I?
called a bridge.
A bridge. There you go. Star Trek. I have to remember it.
Yep.
They have the bridge on Star Trek, but not a viewing room because to me, when you're in that bridge, you're viewing the sea. So of course it's a viewing room.
It is. It's a viewing room. I can't argue. The logic is there.
It makes complete sense to me as a landlubber.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Next up, we've got Dave Bowen, who asks, when are we going to get an episode dedicated to the masterpiece that is Force 10 from Navarone?
Dave, you absolute hero.
Eventually, sadly, I'm sure.
Well, there have been talks of Christmas, haven't there? There's a couple of movies that we might do at Christmas.
A festive treat for me.
Exactly. Oh, but then I've got here on my notes.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Me.
That's like Matt getting coal for Christmas, or going to a family function, seeing he's got 10 presents, getting really excited, and they're 10 Lynx Africa sets.
No.
We'll do Force 10 from Navarone when Matt admits it's not actually that bad.
You got a long fucking way, haven't you?
I know, exactly. From Matt's point of view, when hell freezes over, I want to do it like next week, but I know that won't happen. So
it's not going to happen. It's not going. Maybe it'll be a festive film in which
that'll be a festive treat.
In which I open a big package of coal. Thanks, Santa.
So on to X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Our first question is from Stuart Fitzel. He asks, well done on the 5 years. What movie do you think would work well as a series? You mentioned on the episode about Monuments Men that it would have lended itself better to a series. Any other ideas?
I think Monuments Men would have been a better series.
It would have been.
It just felt like it.
Very episodic movie.
That was such a squib of a film, considering the cast it had.
You can't win them all.
No, what do you reckon?
Well, I've got here, and this is like a lot of movies, but then I guess I'm turning the operation into a whole thing. But I'd take theirs is Bridge Too Far, Baskerville VC, The Band of Brothers, Market Garden Eps, and I'd spin Market Garden off into a 10-part series.
Okay.
Because I think now you can update the narrative to dispel the myths that those series and films have sort of purported, like the whole stopping to drink tea, the British aren't doing their job, blah, 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 all this other kind of stuff, Gavin doesn't take a bridge, oh my God. And you can, because there have been some great books released in the last, 20 odd years that have really sort of helped to tell a better story of Market Garden and what is actually happening. And I just think I'd call it Market Garden, and I'd show the Polish side, the British side, the American side, and the German side, and I'd have 3 episodes on each.
Yeah.
However many it took. I think there is enough there to do it. Obviously, it'd be a very expensive thing to do, but I think cover that as well as you can, because everyone loves Market Garden. It's the one, probably the most ad nauseum talked about operation because it's a failure. So maybe do that. Mm.
Yeah, that's a good shout. It's a good shout. Um, I would like to see. I would like to see Desert Rats turned into a
Ooh.
a series. So classic 50s, but
Hmm.
obviously present day production values and approach. But have
Thought you were
that
talking about
story
Granby then.
telling.
Oh, yes, please. Yeah.
Oh, give me a Granby film. We've talked about that ad nauseum. Like I think in the last AMA.
We have, yeah. We have, yeah.
Our Journey's End in Gulf War.
It just makes
FE
sense.
432.
I'm going to get the FOF.
Um,
Right, if any actors out there, the FOF players, we're going to do Journey's End, but set it on Granby. Yeah.
we can probably kit them out for that, I reckon. Yeah. So I'd like to see like a proper handling of the desert campaign, and that'd be a good vehicle for it, I think.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Yeah. Lesser done, the desert, really, in film. Not
Yes.
post, probably 19, well, Christ, 70, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, on to our next question. Rob Shipman asks, which is the best Vietnam War movie and why is it Bat 21? I think he asks this every year. And you have to admire the man. You really do.
It's a tradition now. Yeah.
It really is.
I think other than Bat 21, I really love. I'm going to throw this out as like a bit of a curveball. I really love Siege of Firebase Glory.
It is good.
It's not your Hamburger Hill. It's not your Platoon. It's not your Apocalypse
No.
Now. It's not these big Vietnam War movies where you're like, oh, this is like genre defining. There's
more going on here than just shooting
defining.
people. Yeah, it's one of them kind of films.
Exactly. But Siege of Firebase Glory has that kind of guilty pleasure element going.
He was my son, as Thingy
yes.
famously shouts. Yeah, Wings Hauser.
The whole thing is just ludicrous, really.
It's beautiful.
Right
It's
down
great,
to
though.
the climax where Winghauser gets shot in the balls. It's sensational. Absolute. The balls.
Yeah, Brian
swing around. The
Trenchard Smith was
cojones
on
that
one.
took.
And that. Yeah,
That took to have the climax of your film focused around that is just.
it's just beautiful. Yeah,
That's cinema.
it's
cinema.
Matt.
That's brave filmmaking.
So for me, I mean, personally, my favourite Nam movie is Hamburger Hill. Always will be. I think it's fantastic. But I do adore Rob's dedication to Bat 21. I really do. Because he browbeat us enough
it's a
that we
great
did
film.
it. Yeah. Because famously, on the show, if you browbeat us enough about a movie, we will do it. We might not do it this month. We might not do it this year, but it will get done. And it had an amazing 20 minutes on the SRU survival vest, that episode. So I'm very proud of that one. So next question comes from Kevin Getz, the co-host of Ham and Jam podcast. Please go and listen. Fantastic podcast about the British Airborne in the Second World War. And he says, fantastic and many congratulations. Question, if the podcast wasn't a topic you had both chosen, what would be the podcast with Matt and Robbie and what would it be about?
There's quite a few here. I music.
Okay.
I reckon we could have a fun pod about music.
Yeah. Jukebox Jury with
Or-
Matt and Robbie. Perhaps.
Yeah. We both love putting a playlist together.
We do. Matt has made an amazing dive bar playlist lately that I've been very much enjoying.
Yeah, that's my magnum opus at the moment.
It's fabulous.
Shit boxes with Rob and Matt would be fun.
Oh yeah, old cars. You really like old cars?
A car podcast made by
Yeah.
two people that know absolute bugger
Nothing
all
about cars. But we know what we
cars.
like. We like art.
Yeah.
We know what we like. So I think cars or music for me. We've discussed other shows and series that are kind of FOF spin-offs, but they remain nameless for now because one of them is actually primed and ready and in production as we
we're at the
speak.
point
So
where
we
we've
won't.
made artwork for it and,
Yeah.
and planned our episode structure.
Yeah, we won't
So,
say what it is because we're
I mean,
not.
I've got it in my Word doc here in all caps, bold.
Yeah, we're not
But I'm
dropping
not
that
gonna
until
say
it's
it.
ready to roll. We're not dropping that until it's ready to roll. But we thought of a show, and I don't think we're ever going to do it now, so I think I'm okay to say it. But we did think of a show called Shootout, where we would dissect film shootouts. And we thought of this a couple of years ago. But the only thing that failed there was that we worried that maybe like a 5 to 10 minute sequence of a shootout wouldn't be enough to carry a whole show. So that I think it I don't want to say it died on its ass, but it kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
we
think that would make
might,
more of a good visual
yeah, we
kind of
might
thing.
re-roll that into the Fighting on Film YouTube channel, I think,
Yeah.
and do it as a as a series on there. I think it just will work better. But then I had a thought we might have done a history show, but maybe sort of drawn in some pop culture elements. Like this cartoon of Star Wars, Clone Wars. Oh, it actually says a lot about insurgency warfare in Vietnam because there is an episode like that. Or we might have done something drawing on Matt's firearm knowledge, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I think really. But yeah, I think that's what we would have done. Or we might not have
Yeah,
done
I
a
think
show
so.
at all. If I had never asked Matt about Sten guns, you wouldn't be listening to this
Yeah.
right now. That's the crazy
This is
thing
it.
about this. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Serendipity.
Really is. Next question, Matt.
Yep. James asks, he says, congratulations, thank you. If you could have one actor on the show, who would it be? All right. I've got living.
Oh, I
Tom
did Alive
Hanks.
and Dead too. Yeah.
See,
That's
hive mind,
mine.
Foff
Tom
hive mind.
Hanks. Alive is Tom Hanks or Matthew Modine.
We've always said this.
Yeah.
I have three. Okay, Tom Hanks, Matthew Modine, hive mind, Dale Dyke. We got him, ladies and gentlemen.
We
got
did
him.
get Dale Dye. It was one off the three. I reckon we could have a shot at Modine. We came blooming close. This is Foff exclusive. We came within a whisker. But I'm going to keep doing it. So we might get Matthew on at one
Oh
point.
yeah,
We'll try.
I swear to God, one day I will get Tom Hanks on this show.
Oh, me too.
I've said it before,
Yeah.
and I'll say it again. I'm not doing.
I've
Saving
emailed
Private
so
Ryan
many
until
dodgy emails
Tom
trying to
Hanks
get him
is
on.
I know. Until Tom Hanks is on a Zoom call with us, it's not happening until then.
It'll happen. We'll try our best. Yeah.
My dead category: David Niven or the Hawk.
Yeah. I've got Jack Hawkins or Percy Herbert.
Percy Herbert's a shout as well.
Yeah.
It was lovely having a chat with his daughter about his life and
that
career.
that episode again was just amazing. If you haven't listened to our chat with Percy Herbert's daughter, please go and listen to it. There's some fascinating things in there. It really is. Yeah, the Hawk or Percy Herbert, and then Alive for me is Tom Hanks on Modine. I mean, you just want get the AAA guy, the Premier League on. Come on, for sure. So, next question is from Bert Plumswank. That is an amazing name, by the way. If that's your actual name, Bert, it's sensational.
I hope so. I hope so.
He said, and this is a huge question, what's the most satisfying war film you've watched? Oh,
I actually really like the term satisfying, actually. I think that's a very clever way of putting it.
Because it really niches it in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not like enjoyed. Because you shouldn't always you can't enjoy come and see.
What's your most loved film? Or what's your top three? It's always really hard. Yeah.
It is. I mean, I know where Bert's coming from. It's tricky.
He plums a good wang.
He does. He's wanging the plums on this one. I would say
keep that in, that's gold.
I would say there's a couple that have kind of just tickle a little mitochondrial somewhere.
Tickle the plums, if you will.
Tickle.
It's staying in this week. It's our birthday.
Anyway.
We do what we want. It's Bob's birthday. We can keep it in. It's fine.
Went the Day Well is one of them.
That's a good one.
The Wild Geese.
Yeah.
Steel Bayonet.
Oh, okay. These are some good choices. Yeah.
Yeah. Zulu. Satisfying. Just a quality film. Beautifully made. But it's 9 Men. It's satisfying.
Yeah. I've got down Wild Geese because it's nostalgic.
It's a shout.
First watched it with
Nostalgia is such
mum and
a
dad.
key element of defining a film.
Really is that. What was? I wrote it down earlier. I deleted it, and I shouldn't have. What was it? Men in War. For some reason,
Men in War. Interesting.
I saw half of it when I was like 8 on BBC Two. On my on I had this,
Did you see up to the bit with the minefield where they just drive through it?
no, I turned it on when they're doing the attack, so I
Oh, at
don't
the
even
end.
seen that part.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had this really little Sanyo, like 15-inch colour telly in my room, and I had to
Colour,
go up
posh.
and I know, right? It was a birthday present. This is a long tangent. I caught the last 20 minutes of Men in War, and it always stayed with me. And it's that Men in War.
Yeah.
It's a soundtrack. Yeah, that film. All Wild Geese.
Both solid,
Both solid picks there. Yeah,
satisfying films.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Ian Mays. He says, well done, here's to another 5. If you could review any film TV series that is not necessarily war-related, what would it be? A show that I've always really enjoyed and really liked, a bit of a classic, is The Professionals, and I think that would make a bit of a fun one.
Yeah, it would. It would, wouldn't it? What a series. Bodie and Doyle. Oh, beautiful. You know, the leather jackets are off the charts in that movie. Film
The fits,
series.
the guns, the cars,
Oh yeah,
the settings, the stories, just a classic.
definitely
Great.
room there for a tight 40. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love it. Well, I've gone completely off the rails. I hope to God listeners know what I'm talking about here. I would do a rewatch podcast on the 1997 to 2007 Sky TV soap opera Dream Team.
Fucking knew you were going to say Dream Team. Even before you said gone off the rails, I fucking knew you were going to say Dream Team. It's your own personal obsession.
My Roman Empire, mate. It's
really
my Roman
is.
Empire. It really is. So, for those that don't know, if you're an overseas listener, Dream Team was a TV soap opera that was on every that was on every day of the week. It follows
kept
the ups
so
and
many actors of a certain quality
it really did.
in work
It
for
really
such a
did.
long time.
Yeah, and a lot of Premier League footballers from that era got cameo roles, and they are absolutely fantastic because they're
Barclays
awful in
men
it.
everywhere.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. So it follows the ups and downs of Harchester United Football Club in the Premier League, and there's like death. There's like the last episode of the series, they all get killed in
Coach
a coach
accident
crash.
there somewhere,
It's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, the captain gets shot at the FA Cup final from a sniper on the balcony. It's just crazy, and I love it. But the issue is it's hard to do, as not every one of its 419 episodes are online.
Oh
A
my
good
god,
chunk
really?
are.
419.
If anyone wants to get me a retro Harchester shirt for Christmas, I'll be your best mate forever. That's probably not a good thing. Anyway, on to the next question, which is from Harvey Griffith, which I always, when I hear the name Harvey Griffith, I always think that would have been an amazing, like, Percy Herbert-esque actor name from the 50s, 60s.
Yes, absolutely.
Congrats, here's to 5 more. What military action / incident would you love to see turned into a movie?
I've made a concerted effort this time to give different answers to what I have in the past, to those that I've given in the past. And one that jumped into my mind was HMS Glowworm versus Admiral Hipper.
Glowworm, you've mentioned Glowworm so many times on this show.
Have I? I love Glowworm.
You have. We did an
cool
episode.
story.
We didn't. I remember this because I edit them all, so I have an intrinsic knowledge of the show. We did an episode where it was essentially.
The saddest thing about FOF is every time Rob edits a episode of Fighting on Film, it pushes a memory of Dream Team out.
It does, yeah. I can't remember where they beat Juventus in the Intertoto Cup. Ah!
It's like that episode of The Simpsons where they go to like South America and Bart learns Portuguese, and Homer like leans over the sea and goes, "But they speak Spanish there." Like they're going to Argentina, I think, and he tells him to like forget Portuguese.
This is worse than the episode where they beat Slavia Prague in the UEFA Cup, and then the plane crashes on the way home, and they conveniently get rid of all the higher priced actors for the next season. It's worse than that.
I actually remember that one. You know, I remember
It's
that.
a great
one.
episode.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Anyway,
Christ.
So my military. So Matt's choosing Glowworm. We did an episode where listeners sort of brought us their ideas, and then I made posters of them. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
So Glowworm was your pick for that. I've gone for Private Howard's military medal pier action during the Battle of Susteren. One man with the only anti-tank weapon available to the first Fifth Queens as they took the town, hit one SPG for sure, and definitely took a shot at a Panzer IV or a King Tiger. Would make an amazing movie, I think.
Metal. Pure metal. Love it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Hanging out of a top-story window with it as well.
Oh, elevated position. Textbook.
Pier 2 book, that's a whole chapter. It's got to be.
Oh, good. Don't worry. I'm going to be on Ham and Jam talking about Piers in a
I know
couple of
you
weeks.
are. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Get that in there. We might not be able to. They weren't airborne, but you can try. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll sneak it in. Other choices, because I couldn't remember whether I'd glowwormed or not, and I apparently have glowwormed in a previous episode.
You've glowworm before.
I have. I would like to see something on the Eastern Front during World War One. You know, you got Dr. Zhivago, you've got that Latvia movie,
Like a Tannenberg film or something.
A Tannenberg film, that'd be great. The Rifleman is really good, and it covers a little bit of World War One, and then obviously post-war the Soviet revolutions and the back and forth around that, which we covered in a really early show and tell years and years ago.
Yeah, we did.
And we've always said
remember we need to do those, everybody. Yeah.
If we've got a busy week, they'll be coming back.
That's true. They are. They are those kind of. Yeah. If me and Matt are ever busy, the show and tell comes out. So you know what we're up to. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that. We've talked about this before, but an Arras film, World War II,
1940 Arras. Yeah, be brilliant. It would be really great.
And then my Roman Empire is longing for a series of films about the first battles of World War One, up to the Battle of the Marne. You know, where they finally hold Germans. That'd be great.
That'd make a great movie. Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, I've just got Private Howard's Pier action really because it's
great.
Personal.
That's great. I think I've gone big, you've gone small, but there's so many small individual actions.
There's so much.
Great films.
Yeah, like something like The Retreat from Sitang in 1942. That'd make a great film. I don't know, no one's ever done that. It'd be brilliant. So we now have a section which is going to be a one and done thing for the 5th year anniversary. It might not ever come back, so enjoy it, folks. It's the Ask Each Other Anything. So here's my questions to Matt at 3, and then Matt's got 3 questions for me. So my first question for you, Matt, what's your thoughts on the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre? I never get the chance to ask him again.
I can't actually quote the line back because it's inappropriate. And in the manner it's delivered from Alan Partridge. But I think it's a fantastic thing. And the interesting thing about the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre is it was one of the first city centres in the UK that was actually pedestrianised. And I think it's been a success.
Look this up? That's fantastic. Wow. Because if you don't take the pedestrianisation, you have to come in through the King's Road. It must have been a hard decision for Alan's great-grandfather to make.
I don't know when they did it. I don't even know when they did it.
No,
I think it was in the 90s.
Yeah, well, it must have been like 97 because that's when the first season comes out. Yeah. For listeners who aren't aware, me and Matt love Alan Partridge, and we have quite a heavy knowledge of it. Yeah, it gets quoted a lot on the show. So my second question is a bit more serious, but it's not asked in a serious manner. Why do you love guns so much?
I read it in Alan's voice.
Why do you love guns so much?
They're just, moving fire.
Get back in the lift, Lynn.
So that's a good question. It's a good question, and I have been asked it before. It's not love. It's more of a curiosity, and it stems from the same place that my love of war movies comes from. My grandfather used to sit me down in front of war films, and we watched those. Both of my grandfathers actually. And then one year, my granddad got me a Jane's firearms recognition guide, which is like a little A5,
Ooh, yes.
the thick boy, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
literally all it is page after page after page of one photo of a firearm, stats about the firearm. It's like Top Trumps, but in a book. I think I must have been fascinated by the firearms that we saw in war movies while we were watching them, and probably
Think I'll
asked him
base
what
a
that was,
career
what
on
this
that.
is.
Did our young Matt
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, 5-year-old me was like, "Oh, I'm gonna," or 7-year-old me was like, "Oh, I'm gonna." That's my career. That's me locked in now.
Our son fucking loves firearms. Is that appropriate? He's famous from
My
Liverpool.
mum didn't think so for the longest time.
Probably not. No. Yeah. Well, my mum famously said to my dad when I was born, he's never going to play with guns. Now I'm a historian. So
My mum said that as well,
Yeah.
and I've done nothing else for the last 10 years. That's the weird crib note of my career is I went and did just a straight history degree. Didn't even do my thesis on anything firearms related.
No.
And then I ended up doing a master's in military history. So I kind of, as Rob was saying earlier, drew down a little bit on it. And then I'd done a blog called historicalfirearms.info, where during my undergrad I got really interested in firearms history because I'd always been interested in it, but I kind of realised there's not a great many people working in the area, so
No.
might be an interesting kind of thing to dig into. And
I'd read
and
Tab
kind of
before
grew
I
from
met
there.
you, but I didn't know it was you. That was the weird thing.
That's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I had read the odd article, yeah. And now I know the law.
Whenever Rob writes anything about weapons related, he'll go, I've just gone to find something about this,
And it's
X
your bloody
weapon system."
blog. Yeah.
And it's one of my blogs. Yeah, I love that.
Right, so your third question is, how do you tighten a screw without rounding off the screw head?
Pick the right screwdriver.
Of course, Phillips or
job.
flathead.
So,
I know that now.
so pick
Yeah.
Phillips or flathead, obviously, but then you've got to size the screwdriver to the actual head of the screw. So if it's too big, you won't fit it in. If it's too small, that will round out the head of the screw.
That's what he or she said, depending on your
Exactly.
preference.
Persuasion.
Yeah, for sure. No, great information, Matt. Fantastic.
Thank you. I'm
really
glad you
killed
asked.
the pod dead. That.
I literally built a door last week for my house. It's my turn. I have 3 excellent questions, and the fact that I read all of your questions kind of clued in by the first one in Alan Partridge's voice. I lent in heavy.
Matt went in harder.
Rob's first question is, how did you get so ruddy bloody brave?
Perseverance, stubbornness, and sheer bloody mindedness. Can't say
And
fairer
a
than
love
that,
of
mate.
Coleman's mustard.
Too much mustard gets in your nose. Big spoonful. Well, I'm ready for the next one.
Yep. Second question is, what's your favourite Bond film and why is it The Spy Who Loved Me?
Come now, Mr. Moss. You know my favourite Bond film is 2002's Die Another Day. I saw it in the cinema. My popcorn was stolen. That's my horrific attempt at Roger Moore there.
It's actually not that bad. It's not bad.
But yeah, no, Die Another Day. That's my favourite Bond.
I actually quite like that
Because
one.
it's a formative one. I think it's Madcap. And I think they're
I
missing
like
the
all of
Madcap
Pierce Brosnan's
now.
ones. I like
But
them.
then on reflection, I do like Timothy Dalton's run.
I wish you'd had more than 2.
Great laced. Yeah.
Third question. Why do they have big sheds and what do they have in there?
Inside these big sheds are 20-foot high chickens because of all the chemicals you've put in them. And these chickens are scared. They don't know why they're so big. They go, oh, why am I so massive? And they're looking down at all the other little chickens and they think they're in an airplane because all the other chickens are so small. Do you deny that, Matt? Your silence speaks volumes.
It's what I wanted. That's all I needed. That was the reply I was after.
When you gave me that, you knew I would find the quote and rewrite it. You know that I'd do that. Yeah, fantastic.
For the listeners out there that have never seen I'm Alan Partridge, or any Alan Partridge, go and watch some I'm Alan Partridge.
Anyway, so on to our mystery segment, which is
Ooh.
it's the random Fighting on Film voice note of the week. And I've picked 2. So if
Ooh.
listeners like this for the end of the episode, we'll pick a voice note at random. It's usually going to be my ones because I send the most weird stuff to Matt. So
Yeah,
this one was taken.
This was something that I came up with when Rob sent me a particularly esoteric one that out of
Yes.
context was quite humorous.
And there are two. So the first one comes from, I think it was Wednesday. And I said, no way he hits that with a ballista from that range. Not a chance.
That was it. That was the one.
I was watching the latest Indiana Jones film, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's a ballista in there, and it gets shot at a plane, and I was like, "There's no way that's happening."
I tell you what, listening to you watch that film in real time was a treat.
And then my second one comes from earlier today, where I said, "I can't with the weather today, mate. It was a raincoat Saturday, jumper Sunday. Now I'm in shorts and a gin top. Pick a fucking lane, God." Because it was hot as all hell today. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, absolutely gold. And I think all that's left is to say thank you so much, everyone who contributed a question to this 5th birthday bash, and thanks for sticking with us. I
think this might actually be our most outlandish AMA yet.
It could be. Look out for my Dream Team one-man podcast coming soon.
Self-indulgent partridge quotes and things Robbie said in WhatsApp voice notes.
It'll be every week, wouldn't it now, really, if they want it? They have to let us know. Thanks for sticking with us for 5 years, everybody, and there is definitely 5 years more of war films for us to cover, so we hope to see you back here in 2030.
Have no fear, we have war films for years.
Thank you so much, listeners, for sticking with us for 5 years. It's been an absolute wild ride. I've loved every minute of it, and I can't wait to do more. So do join us again next week for another War Movie review. All that's left to say is happy birthday, Fighting on Film. You've been the listeners, we've been Fighting on Film, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks everyone for listening for 5 whole years. Bye everybody.
Bye-bye.